Alrighty, welcome back to the Breaker Broz, and we're instant reactions to the 34-31 victory over the Jaguars, just like we predicted, right?
Did you predict? You predicted a win, right?
I did.
This is almost exactly what you said.
I feel like this is a game that we should have had against the Steelers, but I feel like with Browning, we are a playoff team. I mean, they played pretty well against a good Jaguars team.
Slow down a little bit. Let's slow down.
I mean, yeah, they have potential. They control their destiny because.
Well, to me, I mean, obviously Browning played way better than he did last week. But I think the play calling was much better, and running the ball helps a lot. And it's almost like you wish they would have called these plays when Burrow was playing, where it's just like, run sometimes to set up the pass. You don't have to throw it 50, 60 times a game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I felt like they found their 1-2 punch because Mixon looked good. I mean, doing what he did. But then, crap, I can't think of his name. Chase Brown, right?
TJ, who's your mama?
He looked good, and he had the spark that we were looking for.
I think he needs some more carries. I thought it must have been in overtime. He had like a run where he hit the edge. There wasn't much sideline left, but he was actually able to run that. What is that called? Stretch play or whatever they run, where they just try to run straight to the sideline and get around the corner.
Yeah,
he actually had the speed to beat the defense to the sideline, but there was just no room. But I feel like they try to run that with Mixon, and he just doesn't have the speed to get there before the defense. So I feel like they need, more carries for Chase Brown for sure. I mean, if they want someone to hit some runs, I mean, he had a big 20, 30-yard run on one. I feel
like he had like 10 touches at least.
Yeah, it seemed like he had a lot of touches. I don't know what the exact numbers are. Should we Google?
Oh, nine. He's got nine. 9 carries for 61 yards, 6.8 average. Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. I mean, they need him. I mean, but that to me is, I don't want to say it's all the difference, but you can't be so predictable, so one-dimensional. You gotta mix in some running.
Yeah, I mean, this is another weird game. I mean, obviously we gave up 31 points. There's things that they could improve on the defense, but overall I felt like we played like a really good game as a team, and the Jaguars are a good team. It's not like they're like a pushover, and I think they showed. I mean, it sucks that their quarterback got hurt at the very end, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he was practically in until the last 2 minutes, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been under the 2 minutes, right? I feel like
I can't remember.
There's so much that happened throughout the game. I mean, even the last 2 minutes, like I think the backup quarterback for them, he got the ball with like, I don't know, like a minute and 20 seconds. And then somehow he's able to run down the field, or they get down the field. And then we have the ball for like 30 seconds, and it looks like we're about to kick a field goal. So it's just a lot happened towards the end. But nonetheless, the point is that Trevor Lawrence was in the majority of the game. So it's like, people can't point and say like, well, the Bengals won because we played against their backup. I mean, we're playing our backup quarterback, but
I mean, I don't think. Are there any starting quarterbacks left in the NFL? I mean, seems like
ironically the Ravens. I mean, knock on wood. I mean, and the Chiefs. I feel like they should kind of coast into the playoffs with
But it just feels like there are a lot of quarterback injuries this year.
Oh, there is. There's so many. I mean, Kenny Pickett just got hurt. Watson's out for the year. Burrow. The quarterback for the Minnesota, can't think of his name. Kirk Cousins. He's out.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
Sucks too, because he was having a pretty decent year. But I mean, I guess this is like a signature win for Zach Taylor too, because like you come off
signature win.
A signature win, yeah. Why not? Because like they're in playoff contention.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
It was a Monday night game on the road against the number 2 seed at the time, and they potentially could have had the number 1 seed against, and we won with our backup quarterback. So I think that was pretty good. I mean, that was the biggest criticism of Zach Taylor so far, was that he could only win with Burrow, right? And if they somehow sneak into the playoffs, I think that looks good on Zach Taylor without Burrow,
Okay,
right?
well, I mean, I don't want to be pessimistic, so I'm not going to say anything. Let's
Well,
go.
What could you be pessimistic about? I mean, look at their schedule. It's very winnable games. I don't think Indiana is that great.
I don't know. Did they win this week? I didn't watch any football on Sunday. My power
No, they
was
did.
out.
They won at the end, but what I'm saying is I feel like we can beat Indiana, and then we'll have that advantage over them, because I think we play
So,
them next
like,
Sunday. This
the
coming Sunday.
Sunday, I had tickets to the Bearcats basketball, and after the gut punch going to the soccer match was on Saturday night, I was like, I'll just stay home and watch TV. And then power went out.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, oh well.
No, I mean Indianapolis. They have a pretty decent record. I think they're 7-5 right now. So,
Mhm.
but nonetheless, if we beat them next week, I think we have the same record. Wait,
Mhm.
we're 6-6 right now. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So we would be both 7-6. So we would have the leg over them, and that I
Yeah.
think,
The math checks out.
yeah. So like, if everything goes right, and I think the Broncos technically would have to lose. No. I think it might be too early to sneak in to like the 7th seed next week, because the weird thing I think might happen is that I think the Texans.
You usually need like 10 wins, right?
I think it just depends. I mean, there's no
So
real
they can't
dominant
lose.
team in the AFC, and it seems like teams keep
Well,
losing.
no, they
and
can
then-
lose. There's 17 games now, so 10-7. So they basically can lose one more game.
I think there's a way you could make it in with 9 wins. But I mean, you
You
would be the
can
7th
make it with
seed.
9, but I mean,
I think
would
10 probably
imagine that.
clinch it. Are you saying like for sure to make it in the playoffs? 10?
Yeah,
Yeah. So 10. I think if
feel,
you get 10,
you're
you're
not
in.
for sure, but you feel good about your chances if you can find 10 wins, right? But I'm not ready to go there. I feel like a lot of it they schemed up some stuff. I mean, I felt like when we were watching Browning live, he was like just staring down receivers. And then it seemed like this game they did a lot of. I mean, I was watching the Manning cast, so they just kept saying that they were trying to roll them out and give them simple reads, either throw it to the first guy or throw it to the guy behind them, kind of stuff.
It was a really
So-
well played or called game for Zach Taylor. Like
Yeah, but I mean, like that advantage goes away once people know what you're doing. So it's at some point in time, you just have to be good, right?
yeah.
And I don't know that you can like do that kind of stuff over and over again. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, because maybe the receivers are good enough that they can get away with it.
Well,
But,
it was one
you
of
know.
those games where pretty much for the most part, we had control of the game. I felt like, I mean, obviously we gave it a lot of points, but again, it's against a really good team.
Yeah,
but
I mean, really, they shouldn't have went to overtime because like that interception
yeah,
that Boyd threw was
detrimental
I mean,
because it led right to 7 points.
yeah. I mean, you wonder if they would have been able to score 28 had they what was it? Wait, what was the score? 34-31 or 31?
Yeah, it's 34-31. I mean, for the most
so you
part,
wonder if they would have scored 31 had they not gotten the ball so close that one time.
Right.
If you punt on that instead of giving up the ball there, maybe you just win outright. So, I mean,
well, and then if McPherson,
this is a win for old school football. You run the ball to set up the pass.
yeah, I felt this was a good amount of runs mixed in with the plays that they called, and then Chase took over at certain points of the game, and I think he had 147 yards or something like that. I think he's over 1,000 yards for the season now.
This is the exact game that
This
I've
is
been
what I was
complaining
expecting against the
about for a
Steelers.
while.
This is the exact
Like-
game I was expecting against the Steelers.
I wasn't expecting this game against the Steelers, but I mean, go back in time, I just felt like you watched that game, and it was just like, why are they not running it more? You know? I mean, because the Steelers weren't scoring points. Why do you keep throwing it every single time? You can afford to like uh, stick to the run
Well,
and take some pressure off your quarterback
it
and
could
try
just
to
be
set up some easier stuff.
a simple case of them just out or like overthinking things because during the week you play to
See,
your
you
strengths
call
or play to
it you
the
call
weaknesses.
it you call it overthinking things. I call it trying to be too cute. Like that. I feel like that pick was trying to be too cute when they
Well,
bring
that
in like the extra linemen and they never run it. It's just they're being cute. Just like every once in a while, you just got to win. I mean, every
well,
once
I
in a
mean,
while,
the whole
it's
Boyd
fourth and
interception that
one.
was
You
on him. He
gotta.
should just threw it away. Even if it was a bad play, he should just threw it away. Like,
You should. Well, he should have done what a receiver should do.
just run up the field. If it's not there,
Yeah,
just
just run
run
up
it.
the field.
Yeah,
I mean, let's. I mean, even in seventh grade football, when we would do like weird stuff like that, that was always the thing, right? If
if
the
it's not
throw's not
there,
there, just
yeah,
run.
yeah.
I mean, because you're fast,
I saw
and
someone on
the
Twitter is like, "Well,
defense
you
is going to
can't
be
put him in a
standing around.
position to mess up." Like, it's like, well, you're not going to predict the perfect play every single time. It's kind of on the player
No,
to
it's on
adapt.
him. It's on him. I bet you if he asked him,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
would have said he shouldn't have thrown it. He should have just ran,
Yeah, because that was a
right?
very pivotal point in the game. That and like
Yeah,
the dropped interception by Dax Hill, that was another thing that could have sealed it. And then
yeah.
we could have had a
But
fumble recovery at the
I
very
feel
end. But
like
overall, we were just in control. I felt like.
they did that because they felt it was low risk because they felt like Boyd would either be wide open or Boyd would just try to run it.
Yeah, I feel like they did so many. There was another trick play. I felt like, oh yeah, because they gave it to Chase and had him try to throw.
Yeah,
they pulled up this stat where like Brownie was like 200 something yards for whatever, and then the two receivers were -7 with one interception.
yeah,
It's kind of funny.
yeah.
And then
I
how about
mean,
that run by Mixon? I made that the thumbnail. Where like to me, that was a sign that we were gonna win that game. Where he got that extra yard, put his hand down, and got into the touchdown. I felt like he was
yeah,
running
that was
pretty
a
hard
good run.
today.
Well, I mean, I have always been critical of Mixon, but the one thing I like is goal line Mixon.
Yeah.
Like if he ran like that all the time, he would be elite. But it's
Well,
just like he only runs like that when feels like he can score.
I'm with you. I hope they keep up with this 1-2 punch with him and Brown.
Yeah, I
Because
think
they're a
so.
really good combination. I was like, this
Yeah, well,
looks
that
decent.
and to be fair to Mixon, if he didn't have to carry the load and get all the carries and all the catches out of the backfield, maybe he would, try to move the pile more and try to play with power more if he could get more breaks.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to help him out in the long run. Everyone really, because the more you extend drives, it gives more people opportunities, but also it gives
Well,
people
yeah, I mean
rest.
that's what I've been saying. It's just like you got to run plays. I mean, every play can't be like some kind of, video game play that you draw up where like, you have all these moving pieces. Like sometimes you just need to hold the ball and get 3 or 4 yards, because it's those plays that wear out the defense, that wear out the pass rush a little bit. So, I don't know. I mean, good win, right? I mean,
It was a
I
fun
mean,
game.
shocking.
It was kind of scary at first because we didn't score right away. No, yeah, because that's what happened. We got the ball first, and it was like, oh, we're actually kind of moving a little bit. We got into McPherson range, and then he missed
Mhm.
it. It was like I remember watching that replay, and it felt weird to me because it looked like good, and then they did like the underview, and it looked like it got to the post and just stopped and died. It was like the weirdest looking
Yeah, he
field
hit the
goal.
post,
Well, I saw it hit the
hit the
post, but
crossbar.
before it hit the post, it looked like it had enough, and then it just got to the point where
Yeah.
it was just like died. It hit the post. That was like it looked like it was going in to me from the back
Well,
view.
they said his career long was 59, and that was a 57 yarder. So, I mean, he
Well,
hit it.
I
It's
think
pretty amazing that I mean, it was,
it's harder to
you
hit off the
know,
grass. I think too, right?
yeah, I don't know.
I feel
I
like
was just gonna
grass.
say that, he's all I know about, doing anything, right? Throwing a ball, hitting a ball. The harder you try to do it, usually the more inaccurate you get. What's amazing about him is like it just seems like every kick's the same, you know.
Yeah.
That one just happened to be short, but like you saw the miss,
I
and
just
you're
feel
just
like
like, I
versus
bet you if
field
you did it
turf,
again, you could hit it.
it might be a little bit easier to hit off maybe a harder surface than a softer surface, but
I
I
don't
guess
know.
that would be a good question for a kicker.
Yeah,
But he nailed
you're
the
asking
last
the wrong
one.
guy.
Or
Yeah.
he had what, a 54-yarder?
Well, I just feel like that. I feel like that miss is just one where you're like, well, you know, it was 57 yards. If you do the exact same thing, it might go through because it was so close.
Yeah, he had a 54-yarder, and then it's like the one that he hit for 54 yards looked like he could have made the 57-yarder. So maybe it was just the bad end of the field.
Yeah, maybe it's a wind or something.
I don't know. It looked pretty nice there. I saw people swimming at the game. I was like, that's
like
interesting.
some ladies like shivering in the pool.
Because it's like it's kind of a stretch, right? To go to the
just
game
don't
and
understand- I don't
tailgate and do all the
understand
food.
logistics
Because like
of it.
that to me is the limit, right? Where you take additional food, but then to go to the game and swim, it's just like I don't know if I could do that. That just seems too much because then it's like you got
I'd
to
rather
bring in
go
extra
swim in the
clothes.
tailgate, though.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess that's just
like
me. I like
it's
tailgating.
just an extra pair of shorts, man.
Well, it is Florida, so you probably don't need that much clothes to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, really, you probably you don't even have an extra pair of shorts. You just went swim trunks to the game, right?
Yeah,
I mean, in
that and
September,
a Hawaiian t-shirt.
that'd probably be the best thing. And you know, it's probably like 90 degrees outside. You go hang out at the pool. Do you think they charge? Do you think there are tickets for the pool, or do you think like it's probably like some kind of club you have to pay extra to get into?
Oh yeah. I'm sure you have to pay something extra.
But I mean, do you think it's just like a walk-up thing, or do you think you have to commit in advance?
No, I think you have to commit in advance because I'm sure there's
Yeah.
got to be some type of screening.
Yeah,
like,
because
you can't
otherwise,
just like let anyone.
no,
To...
that's probably what happened. That's probably what happened, right? They were probably like, "Oh yeah, you know, let's hope it's warm in December. Let's get these tickets." And then you get them, and it's like, I don't know what the temperature was, but those ladies look cold in the pool.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is it even warm enough to swim? But I
I
guess in
don't think it
Florida,
is.
well, I mean, the
don't
pool
think
is
it
probably
is.
heated too. That's probably another thing.
Yeah, but they look cold. Is what I'm saying. So
I
based on
couldn't
the
tell.
fact that they were in the water and they look like they were shivering.
You could see that close that they were shivering.
Well, it was a big topic on the Manning cast, so.
Oh, I don't watch with
I-
sound, so I feel like I miss a lot of those. Like,
Well, no, I didn't watch.
Conversations.
I only watched the overtime with like the real announcers. I watched most of the game with the Manning cast because I thought it was going to be a total crap show of a game. So I needed like other stuff going on in order to. I don't know. I was even debating working. I was like, oh, well, maybe I could get a little bit of work done while the game's going on. So
how many more games is left? 5. There's 5 games left, right?
mhm.
So they play, I think, the Colts,
Okay,
Vikings.
Vikings.
I think the Steelers again.
Ravens and
No, we're done playing the Ravens.
Raven. Okay, so we play Steelers, Browns, Colts,
Chiefs.
Vikings,
Chiefs.
and the Chefs. Okay,
Chiefs will
So you
obviously
need-
be the toughest
you
match,
need
but
you need to win most of those games for sure, and then you feel good if you win 4 of them.
I don't know. I mean, it's looking like we'll probably play the backup for the Steelers, Trubisky. They're saying that what's his face is hurt. He's gonna be
Yeah, but it
hurt for a
doesn't
while.
matter.
No, I mean I agree. I'm just saying it might be a little bit worse, if anything. Not to say it can get that much worse, because the Steelers'
Yeah,
offense is just
what's
pitiful.
the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't won based on offense in years against the Bengals. It's always been the defense that wins the games for them.
Yeah. I think they'll want that too, because I think they, just based off how poorly they played against the first time they played against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be nice.
You ever feel
for us-
like maybe we should just like not go to the games?
I guess we went to Dallas and we got to see the Raiders. Raiders was nice.
Yeah, Raiders was a win, but like the last game was kind of a.
Yeah, but
I mean, it wasn't even just a loss. It was like it just stunk. I
no,
mean, I
I
guess
mean,
they were kind of. It was competitive, but it
well,
didn't
because we were
feel.
up
Like,
10-7 at the half. So I mean, there was
yeah,
at one point it was just when he threw that interception, it just went downhill from there. Basically, it seemed like.
yeah. Maybe it was just because it was kind of bad weather.
Yeah, it was
Like I
cold.
would take that game if it was nicer
Well, and
weather-wise.
then this is just
Didn't
coming
feel
off like the
terrible.
Burrow injury and all that, so it's like it
Hmm.
sucks because
Hmm.
obviously everyone wants to see Burrow. So I think that everyone was still trying to like, I guess, coming down from that shock. But I mean, based off of how everything went today, I mean, it gives a positive outlook. I mean, there's potential we can sneak into the playoffs. I mean, what are we going to do in the playoffs? I don't know. Obviously, people always want the higher draft pick, but I don't know.
No, not me, man. I just want to win games, but I just don't feel good about them winning games.
Well, I mean, it has to give the team confidence. It shows that they can. I mean, they scored 34 points.
Yeah,
That's pretty
but
good.
there's the whole like desperation game kind of aspect to it. Like, is this repeatable? You know?
Well, I'm hoping because I think the next game's at home, right? Pretty sure it is.
I
They
don't
play the
know.
Colts.
I mean, one of us should probably have the schedule pulled up if we're going to be talking about it. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Colts at Bengals. Yeah, I want to say like their last stretch is kind of favorable because I want to say they have more home games than away games.
Yeah, so the next two are at home, then at Steelers, at Kansas City, and then home.
Oh yeah, the Steelers game is the Saturday. Yeah, Saturday game.
Yeah, 4:30 it says.
I guess technically that's a primetime game. Because I don't think there's only several teams that play on Saturday. It's not like 50-50. I don't know. I mean, they definitely need to approach it one game at a time. Can't really get ahead of themselves. But if you beat the Colts, I mean, really, if you're looking at it, if you're going to lose one game, it better be against the Vikings because it's not in the conference. But yeah, because if you beat the Steelers and Colts, you'll have that tiebreaker over them. Well, actually, I don't know about the Steelers. But yeah. I mean, we could still split the series with the Browns and Steelers. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about because it seemed like everything was doom and gloom, especially after that Steelers performance. But
Mhm.
I don't know, just
You
based off
said
of
it
the.
right. I think it's kind of crazy. I don't think you should be talking about playoffs right now, but
Well, until we're
maybe.
out of the playoffs, I'm not going to stop talking about the playoffs because that's why.
Well,
Why
they're
wouldn't
not in
I?
the playoffs, are they?
No, but they're in contention.
Okay.
The thing that I'm saying right now is that they control their destiny still. Like, there's teams that they are going to play against that we're going to basically competing against the wild card seeds. Browns, Steelers, Colts. We already beat the Bills, Jags. I think the Jags, if Trevor Lawrence is going to be out for an extended period of time, like I feel like the Texans might actually take the division lead in that, and that actually helps us out because we lost to the Texans, so it's not like we're going to lose out. So I mean, it's looking a lot better than what it did last week, and I don't know. I see the potential. I think people should be excited about it. I mean, another criticism was like, "Oh, why do we keep Browning? Oh, he's a horrible quarterback," but he's showing that he can
Yeah,
be
that's
good
what I
enough.
said.
It's not just you; it's a lot of
Mhm.
other people. It's like 50-50. It's like the whole Dalton thing. It's like, but I think he showed enough that he can score points. I don't know if it's one of those things where it's got to always be in the perfect condition type deal. But they played well, and he made some really good passes, and he did some really good things with his feet, even. So
Yeah, I mean, he played good. You can't take it away
all
from
I'm
him.
saying is I think
So,
they're good enough to be a playoff team, even with Jake Browning. And that's also
But
to do
we'll
with
see.
that we have a pretty good roster. It's not like we have a crap team.
Yeah, but I mean, quarterback's like the one position where,
It makes a big difference for sure.
I mean,
The Chiefs lost to backup quarterback. Oh wait, no, they didn't. Never mind. They just lost to Green Bay.
yeah. Yeah, Love's playing pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, it was just the Packers were like 5-7, but it
Mhm.
seems like they're starting to hit their stride too. So I mean, they're probably one of those teams that's better than their record because they have a lot of young players that I guess are starting to understand what to do now. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's still like a game that the Chiefs should win, but I don't think the Chiefs are as good as what people thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. I mean, the AFC seems pretty wide open. There's really not that dominant team. I mean, if anyone, I guess it would be either the Ravens or the Dolphins. But even them, like, there's question marks in the teams that they have actually beat. I think the
Yeah,
knock on.
I guess, man, you're just the forever optimist, man. It's just like, Bengals are gonna make the playoffs. Everybody else isn't as good as everybody says they are. I mean,
I'm not
good place to
saying
be.
the Bengals are going to make the playoffs. I'm saying they can make the playoffs. That's
I
the
know.
difference.
It's
You're
good
just
to
like,
be it's good to
it's
be
already over.
optimistic. I mean, yeah, that's how I feel.
I mean, I feel like they played good enough to kind of change people's perceptions. I'm sure maybe for you it'll take another game or two, but I'm not expecting them to do this either because I don't even think they scored 34 points with Joe Burrow. But they
Well,
look pretty
that's what I'm
good.
talking about with the play calling. It's like, how about you call a game like this when you actually have the good quarterback instead of having them throw it 50, 60 times every game? It's like maybe you run it 10 more times.
And maybe Zach Taylor can learn something like that because maybe you
Yeah,
could.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe these guys are actually going to learn how to run the damn ball, you know?
Well, with a different
Because they
quarterback
have to.
and trying to play
They have
to
to
some of their
win,
different
right?
strengths, maybe it'll show him that maybe they can rely on the run game a little bit more. Like
It's not even to rely on it. It's just like you got to do it, even if you're not relying on it to generate points, right? Even if you
I
don't
want to
want
say
to
there
do
were
it, you
several
still
times in the
got
game
to
where we
do
actually
it.
ran it back to back. I was like, oh my God, we did it.
Yeah,
We ran back to
right.
back, and it was more than once. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And they even
They're
ran it
moving the
back to
ball a little
back when
bit.
they didn't get like a decent amount of yards. That was always my thing. Was like, if you run it, you
Yeah,
get.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's just like it doesn't work every time, you know? It's like you gotta keep the defense honest. And the way you do that is what they did today, you know? And they were saying during the game that the Jaguars actually have a good run defense.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like, we stopped their running game for the most part. Yeah, I don't even think they got close to 100 yards, and then we ran it
Mhm.
really well. So that was weird. I think
Yeah.
the problem with the Bengals and why they tend to give up a lot of big plays is that I've noticed, especially in this game, and I guess Doug Peterson gets a lot of credit because he's pretty good offensive in scheming and that type of stuff, but they tend to get a lot of fast or athletic people on our linebackers. And it was just like there were several times where just somehow our linebacker got matched up with one of the really fast receivers or whoever, and it's just like there's
Well, it's
no
because
way.
their running back is fast.
No, but
Like the Bengals could do that
it
too.
wasn't the running back though. It was
Yeah, Etienne had like one play where Wilson was on one-on-one, and Etienne's like elite fast. They got like 20 something yards on it. They just had him flare out. I mean, that's what you can do if you have a fast running back.
well, yeah. I mean, he's an exception. I mean, not all running backs are going to be that fast, but yeah, nonetheless.
Yeah, but they had some plays where you're like, why is our
I'm talking about
linebacker
like
covering Zay
somehow
Jones
Zay
or
Jones. I guess they were playing some type of zone. That's the only way for it to make sense. But somehow Zach or it's not Zach Wilson, Logan Wilson was covering Zay Jones. Like, why? Like, why are we? Or even Pratt was covering a receiver at one point. Like, but that to me, that's just good scheming on their end.
well,
Like, they're
it
going to
might have
create
been because
mismatches.
I mean there was one point in time during the game where I looked and it was like a third down and we had 3 linebackers on the field. So that might be part of it too.
Was it 3rd and short? It's probably that 3rd and 1.
I don't think it was short. I think it was like a passing down, and they had I saw Davis Gaither out there. I was like, oh man, is
Speaking
Pratt
of that,
out? And then Pratt was on the other side of the field. I was like, they have 3 linebackers in.
yeah, we
They're on
was
4-3.
killed it at the end with those 2 false starts.
Yeah,
Brownie, that was like the craziest
that's
thing.
some crazy. I've never seen a quarterback false start before in a game.
They messed up on the
And
silent
then
count because
they
it looked
did
like Zach
twice.
Taylor was yelling at the lineman too. It wasn't just, or maybe he was yelling at Browning, but it looked like on
Yeah,
the second
you
one,
gotta
Browning
yell
was
at
like,
Browning.
well, the problem with it was that they kept messing up, and then it was on 3rd round, they got that sack because like they had to snap at 1 because he kept on messing up. Just made it really
Yeah.
predictable. But luckily,
Yeah,
McPherson hit that
I'm
54-yarder.
gonna say it's probably Browning because I've never seen that before in a game.
I don't know because it looked like on that
Have you
second
ever
one,
seen that before?
maybe no, not twice in a
Never.
row like that.
I've never seen it.
It looked like he was anticipating the ball being snapped.
Like I've seen him call like a false start on a quarterback for like doing like the cadence extra loud when they're trying to get someone to jump offside. Sometimes they'll call them, but like never like just like taking 2 steps or jumping or something weird.
I think they were trying to do something weird with the snap count because, like, if it was just truly on him, which it kind of looked like, but on the second one, he was yelling at the center. And I don't think if it's really his fault, he'd be yelling at the center like that.
Oh, maybe
I
it
think they were
wasn't
trying to-
yelling at him. Maybe it was just loud and he was just trying to talk to him.
No, because he got a penalty. So he was telling him, like, you got to snap it. Like,
He had some bonehead plays. There was like a weird running play where it looked like he went the wrong way.
you're talking
Or
about
maybe it was
Browning?
an RPO. Yeah, or it was like an RPO where he should have held it and he gave it to Brown instead. Because like they were making a big deal of it on the Manning cast. Because like after he handed it off, he like did like one of these like, why did I do that? But it just looked weird. The whole thing looked weird.
But I mean, overall, I thought he had like a really good command of the offense. Because speaking of that, because there were several times where I saw that he got in the right protection or he got people in the right position.
Mhm.
I mean, outside of those 2 false starts, which is really weird, it looked like he had pretty good command over the offense, and he was catching things and getting people in the right protection. And but I'm sure there's other things that we missed, or I missed, like you talked about in terms of maybe the wrong read. But overall, he looked pretty good. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, there were some plays where like there were just guys streaking wide open down the middle
Oh
of the
yeah,
field.
he missed T. Higgins. He could have
Yeah, in the end zone, but there was like a 3rd down play where like oh shoot.
TJ, who's your mama?
Boyd was like streaking right across the middle of the field wide open and he like threw it underneath to like the tight end or something.
Well, I guess those are the things that we need to pay attention to throughout the year because hopefully if he keeps learning from his mistakes, because this is only his 2nd start, and I guess he's been in the league
Well,
for
if
a
he
little while.
improves at the same rate, then
Yeah.
maybe you'll be right.
He looked pretty good to me. I mean, he didn't look like a person that was going to hold the offense back.
You can't say anything bad about how he played. I mean, other than the false starts, but we're not sure it's his fault. But I mean, overall, you score 34 points.
Yeah.
You got to feel good about it.
Against a pretty decent defense. I don't know if they're like top 10 or anything like that, but I think they're pretty good.
We'll pretend they are.
Well, I mean, for the most part, the pass rush didn't seem to be that much of an issue. I know we gave up, I think, at least 1 sack.
Yeah, there was that 1 sack.
But for the most part, it
Mannings
looked pretty
blamed Browning for the sack.
Wrong
They
protection,
said
probably.
no, it was the right protection. They said it was his guy. So he was the hot. He had to go hot with that.
Okay. I got you. Well, I don't know. It was overall it was a really entertaining game. I was expecting it to be kind of more of like I guess like a 13-10 type game, kind of like the Steelers game, but it ended up being what I thought the Steelers game was going to be. But I'm glad to see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we'll be back on Wednesday.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. Peace.